Hey, imagine you have 500 files that you want to rename every single one of them with a number. And the number is consecutively getting larger, and you don't want to have to go through and rename, right click, rename, and add a number, right click, rename. So I'm going to show you just this basic example. And this is for beginners, so yeah, there's probably not heaps of utility in this. However, it gives you a bit of exposure to what the terminal can do and how it can help you automate some of your tasks. So the first command I'm going to go over with is the touch command. And this is basically just to create a file in your current working directory. So this is where we are in Linux. And I'm going to touch a file. So let's just call it test.txt. And as you can see, it's created it here. Now I can also list out all of the files in our current working directory. This just gives a bit of a visual representation of what's going on. So now I want to remove that. So I'll go remove, and it's gone. So what if I wanted to make 3 files instantly like that to get to our problem of renaming a bunch of files? So what I can do, first I'll clear this. I'll give a for loop and I'll say for item in, and then I'm going to give it a list. So each time we go through this loop, the item will become the item in the list that we're currently working with, for those of you who don't know what a for loop does. So I'm going to give it 3 names. I'm going to say Dan, Andy, Mark. And so after this, we're going to give it some code, and each time it's executing that code, the item will become this thing. It will execute the code, and then next time around it'll become this. And so we can reference this in the code. Hope that makes sense. So I'll hit enter, and every time the code executes, you need to tell it to do something. So you just write do. Now, what do we want to do? We want to, like we did before, touch to create a new file, but this time we can give it the item variable, and each time it touches, it will make the new file. You'll see in a second. Right, done. And now we have our 3 files. So we've just automated this task, and it's done it 3 times for us really quickly. So hopefully you can start to see the power of this. So now, what are we trying to do? We want to put a 1 next to each name on the file here. So how do we do that? Again, we have a for loop, and we say for item in, and this time we want to say within the current working directory that we're in, do something for each file in there. So the way to do that is you give it this variable called pwd, pwd, not e, and then we'll say, and so this represents our current working directory wherever we are. I could also write it out, but this works everywhere. And then I'll say in there using this slash. So within there, I want you to get everything and go through each item essentially. Again, we'll do, and then now we want to use the mv command to, well, usually this is used to move things. However, we can also use it to rename things. I know there's no rename command, or if there is, let me know. So we want to move our current item nowhere, but bear with me, you move it into a new name. So our new name will consist of the file name and a number that we have to get, and that reminds me, we have to get our number first. So we use the let command, and we'll say x equals x plus 1. Okay, so x doesn't exist yet, but And because of that, it's 0 just by default. And so every time we go through this loop, x will be x plus 1, right? So it'll go up every time. So because we want Andy to be 1 Andy, and then 1 Dan, and 2 Dan and 3 Mark. Now a more elegant way to write this is just x plus plus. Okay, so on this first loop, x will equal 1 after this, because it starts at 0, and then x equals x plus 1, it'll equal 1, okay? Now we use the mv command, and we'll move the current item, and then we will use our x, using the variable indicator there, and then we need to get the actual file name out of here, because if we tell it just to get the item, it will actually get the full path of that. And so we want just the file name, not the whole path, because otherwise it won't work. Otherwise it'll stick this number in front of the file path and it just messes up. And the way we do that is by creating a new variable and using the base name command, and then we'll apply this base name to our item. Okay, and because it's in parentheses, this whole thing will return the item name or the file name, and then we'll append the x onto that file name. Okay, so if I hit enter and hit done, now we have a 1, 2, 3. Excellent. So say I just wanted it to be 1, 2, 3 without the names. I could also do that. But first we need to reset what x is, because otherwise, watch this. If we do it again, now it's appending 4, 5, 6. If we do it again, 7, 8, 9. So what we want to do is we want to reset x. So we can do again, let x equals 0. Now if we do it, it's 1, 2, 3 again. So let's make it 0 to clear this out. And now we want to replace the whole name, which is actually easier. So we'll go for item in pwd do mv item. I did it again. We have to make x plus plus again. So let x plus plus. And now we want to rename the current item to whatever x is. So we just go mv item x, done. And see, it goes 1, 2, 3. Now again, if we do this, it'll say 4, 5, 6. And again, because x is maintained in memory, and it will continue to add on. So yeah, now imagine you had 300 files. You could put numbers on all of your files if you so pleased. Now this is not a super utilitarian solution to a big problem. However, it gives you a bit of insight into how you can put a smaller amount of work and using your brain to do a lot of tasks. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you learned something from this.